Hello, and welcome back to another episode of a Rebel Goddesses podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of my listeners. I love hearing from you guys. So if you're new here, please just hit that subscribe button down there, hit a follow, hit a like, give me a comment, say hello, tell me where you're from, and send this to a friend. Or any one of those things. Thank you guys so much for being here again. Today, podcast title, what we're going to be talking about is navigating the silent grief, embracing the emotional journey of miscarriage and abortion, or basically heartbreak after abortion and miscarriage. In today's episode, I'm going to take a compassionate and heartfelt dive into deeply personal and often silent grief of miscarriage and abortion. Without venturing into politics, I want to be focused on the emotional, raw experiences that many women face daily, and sometimes for a lifetime. Through personal stories and reflections, healing insights, in this episode, we're going to offer a space for understanding, empathy, and the honoring of emotions. Whether you've experienced this yourself or you want to support someone who has, this conversation aims to bring sanctity and healing to the often unspoken pain of loss. So again, my name is Elle Abbott, and I'm the host here of Rebel Goddesses. And what I really wanted to talk to you about today, and again, the purpose of my podcast is to empower women. This is about acknowledging that we're internal, that we are feelers, that we are emotional, and that our body carries an incredible amount of intelligence that helps us to create and nurture life on this planet. And one of the reasons I'm bringing this conversation up about heartbreak after abortion is because I had one, I experienced one. And today I am showing up, despite how difficult this is for me, because it is very difficult, because I need to be the voice that I needed. So for any of you who has experienced this, you will understand. For anybody who has not experienced this, it sometimes won't make any sense. So here are the people I'm inviting you to come in and sit with me and experience this point of view. If you have experienced an abortion or a miscarriage ever in your life, if you are pregnant now and in a decision-making process, and or you are somebody who has never had an abortion but has some very strong feelings, and has a lot of opinions to say about abortion, but yet you've never had one. I invite you to come in and sit down and listen to this message that I desperately need to get out there. Because like I said, this is the version of me that I needed when I was 32 years old and going through this experience. I needed this one voice, this one advocacy who was there for life, who could share with me what I needed to know. And that didn't happen because in the industry, and I'm talking about the medical industry that handles abortions. And again, I'm not here to knock this industry or to be against it in any way. It's there, but let me back up to just the medical industry in general. They be swiping left on women left and right. I can't tell you the countless amount of women that I talk to, including myself, who have been consistently gaslit by their doctors when they come in with a valid issue and a valid problem. The medical industry seeks to, they want to make money, and they really want to be women, it seems to me. They want women to not be in touch with the intelligence of their body. Instead, doctor, I need you to do everything for me. I need you to help me get pregnant. I need you, doctor, to help me birth my child. And we haven't had systems like this for the majority of humanity. For the time that humans have been on Earth, women have been handling their own fertility and childbirth and bleeding every month and everything. They handled it on their own, including decisions to not have a pregnancy. And I'm not talking about coat hangers either, When I'm talking about divine feminine, it means that our bodies, they have an incredible intelligence that already knows certain things. If you're a woman listening to this, you have a special oracle ability, so to speak. Something about you, and you'll know this. You have those hands. It's the way you cook. It's the herbs that you can make. You know homeopathic recipes. There's things that we get that we just know. Like somehow women are able to birth this fragile human being onto this very dangerous world where we could get killed 20 times a day, and we raise this vulnerable child for 20 years or more in some cases with some of you mothers. But 20 years is that main time that we're with our children, which is an incredible long amount of time. That is a long time and you have to realize that all this intelligence is built into your body. Okay, so we have an industry that is just barcoding this stuff. They want to make money off of it. When I say they're swiping left, it's just like wanting to replace women. I've read the articles about how the industry is already trying to create babies so that you can go and have your designer baby and go pick it out, and they're going to grow it in a fake womb and hand you your perfect medical made baby. So when you think about how many women are getting gaslit and swiped left on, to me, when I'm looking at the big picture, it's because the things that women bring, the fertility and life and nurturing and just the natural intelligence that we have for just healing in general, is a threat to a company that makes a lot of money off of women. All I want to do is show the bigger picture here, because what happened is when you go in to get a procedure or a treatment, or let's say you're getting a surgery done, the doctor's going to sit down and tell you all the risks to that surgery. Hey, it's dangerous. We're going to put you under. You might die. You could have complications for the rest of your life. We could cut a nerve and it could cause X, Y, and Z. When you take a medication, you get a pamphlet and it has a list of all the side effects. It tells you sometimes these drugs can cause mental health issues. Sometimes these drugs will cause feelings that make you want to unalive yourself, along with diarrhea and aspiration and liver issues. And right, you get disclosure when you're going in for a treatment or a surgery. Well, you don't when it comes to an abortion. And that's why we're here today. They don't tell you everything. They don't tell you the vital information that you need to know before getting an abortion. In fact, what I was told and what many other women were told is this is a painless procedure. You're going to be in and out. Here's some maxi pads. Like, you don't feel a thing. It's so easy. Like, you just get on with your life. You just do this procedure and move on with your life. What I should have been told is that, hey, you are making a choice to unalive an aliveness inside of your body, which has you in a feeling of fullness. Also, it has you in a hormonal place that is like the most chaotic feeling ever. At least when I was pregnant, I was like, wow, it was really overwhelming. All the hormones and emotions and everything. I didn't give myself any time to process it. Everybody in my life was like supportive over the abortion. It's all good. Now, everybody who was supportive over this abortion, there was one thing they all had in common. One thing. Do you know what it is? None of them had ever had an abortion. None of them. None of them had ever had an abortion. So how do they know that it's just a quick procedure and it's in and out? Did they tell me that there would be potential regret or a lifetime of guilt and shame or possible feelings of wanting to alive yourself or a feeling that is just so empty and broken and dark and sad? Why? Why did an abortion cause these problems? And this is why I'm doing this podcast, is to talk about the inner workings and the spirit of a woman and what it is that we really do on this planet and what it is to be a woman here advocating for life. It is not mainstream to advocate for life. It's definitely mainstream to advocate for death. Death is popular. Life is not so popular. Is it really a popular path? It's so messy. Get pregnant, mess up your body, have this painful birthing experience, now dealing with this shitting, pissing, puking baby and keeping you up all night, the labor and the intense work that goes into it. Yet, why is it that our bodies are so profoundly bonded to our children? So profoundly bonded from the moment we find out, when our bellies are still flat and you can't tell at all. For a few months, you typically can't tell a woman is pregnant, and she could keep it to herself and you wouldn't really know. But all these things are going on inside of her. And none of that was ever disclosed to me. So in my experience as a woman who has suffered from this pain, I have also, and emptiness from abortion, I've also met and heard from many other women who have also experienced it. And here's the one thing that they always tell me. Women who have experienced abortion will say this. I don't know. It's not that they tell you to say this. They just say this. I hear it over and over. I think about it every day. That's what they say. I think about that decision that I made to have an abortion every day. Every day. There's really aggressive narrative out there on abortion rights, keeping that around for women. And those people that are out there advocating for abortion don't want voices like me to just stand up and say, hey, there's a life in there. There's a life inside of you, and you're going to feel it internally when you destroy it. You're going to feel like a death has happened in the family. And like nobody around you gets that. They didn't see it. They didn't see your belly. They didn't see a sonogram. In some cases, they didn't see a sonogram. Now, women are, do have miscarriages and abortions. And miscarriages also fall into all of this too, because it's a death. It's a death inside of you. And again, if you haven't had it, you've never had a miscarriage, you've never had an abortion, you don't know what this experience is like. And the things that people say to you will absolutely blow your mind. Is really, there's just such a relaxed feeling around terminating this abortion, terminating this pregnancy and moving on. That's the narrative that the industry really wants. All I'm saying is I just wanted someone to tell me the truth. I wanted the whole 360 degrees. I want physical and I want spirit, because the spirit of the baby chose you to be mom, chose the father to be the father, has a soul essence, attached itself to your aura, to your energy, and then was conceived. And then started growing in your body, and then got a heartbeat. So your baby was there in your spirit before you conceived, before you did the thing. And now, how do I know this? I know this because I suffered for so long after my abortion I can't tell you all the addiction issues and the no stability. And I was just this leaf in a wind and an emotional tsunami. Couldn't handle or deal with my emotions like a normal person. There was just a lot of shame and guilt and regret from what I had done. And also feeling like I had been cheated because somebody didn't disclose to me everything. So I did a thing, and I hired a witch, which some of you might be shocked to hear that, but I needed freaking help. And believe me, I was talking about it. Somebody made a comment on my YouTube, which is exactly why I'm here today talking about this. I had to make some snarky comment like, well, yeah, some people feel like this, some people don't. And my retort is like, well, have you had an abortion? Have you had a miscarriage? Because it's really easy to have an opinion about something that you haven't had an experience with. But you should probably listen to somebody who has had experience with it and feels that there's a big part of this industry that is missing. They're missing the disclosure. They're missing a whole thing there that women need to understand, because we're growing up again in a world that is, especially in America, I can't speak for other countries. I live in America and I'm American. And here, big pharma and medical industry, they be running things. They be running things and they be swiping left on women. And you want to challenge me on this? Come onto my TikTok and challenge me on this, and all day long, I will be sharing you story after story after story after story after story after story of women who are just fed up with going to doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor and getting gaslit and gaslit and gaslit. Now, we never used to have problems with our fertility either. And now, if you want to get pregnant, fertility clinic. Now, you want to have a baby, go to the hospital. As soon as you have your baby, oh my gosh, there's things wrong with the baby. We need to inject them with all these vaccines. We need to take off foreskin on the little boys. You know, I did say I wasn't going to politicize this, but I'm trying to give you a bigger picture here. Our children, when they're growing in our womb, are perfect for the human experience that they're supposed to get. I also have had a miscarriage. So years later, I did get pregnant again with my current partner that I have now, and we suffered a miscarriage. Before that miscarriage, I did happen to go in to make an appointment to get a sonogram done. And in there, I was discussing with the lady, and I just casually mentioned getting a test to see if my baby would be normal, because I'm a little bit older. And just in my mind, I just assumed that because I'm older, I could be at higher risk to have a baby with Downs. And this nurse looked me right in the eye and she says, yeah, well, doesn't that life deserve to live too? And I kind of stood there shocked for a minute, like, yeah, absolutely. Why would I think different? Why did I think different? Why did I was I thinking that if there was something wrong with my kid that I would terminate it again? No. I mean, I was like, okay, I'm hearing this other perspective. That's right. Women, who are out there now, who have children and who are an advocate for life, I just want to say thank you. I needed you. I needed this version of me at a certain time. So again, this is a difficult message for me to bring to you. I'm bringing it to you with just it's been heavy. I didn't sleep last night. Here I am. I'm giving it to you as best as I can, because if you don't see the bigger picture here, it's not, again, I'm not going to be the one who's protesting and telling you not to go and abort your pregnancy. I just want you to see what they're not going to tell you, what you could possibly experience. So I want to talk about some stories and talk about the depth of pain. I'm going to interrupt my own podcast here and have Rick run a clip that is a very popular video that we found on TikTok. There's a young couple, young, healthy couple. They got pregnant. They were super excited. They lost their baby, and they decided to make some multiple clips about what the comments people would give to them after they lost their baby. Go ahead, Rick, and run that clip.
Stupid things people said to us when our baby died.
At least you're young. It's like, yeah, good point. Young enough to have another one die, huh?
This is all part of God's plan. Like, I don't care if this is part of God's plan. This sucks.
Yeah, God's plan really sucks for me, but it worked out great for Drake. He's just too perfect for this world. It's like, yeah, good point. I guess I would have rather had a serious criminal as a son.
So I couldn't hear the sound when it was running. I hope it was playing for you guys. The comments that people will share with you when you've lost a child is, it's concerning. But of course, people mean well. They don't understand what it is that you're going through. They don't understand that it literally feels like a funeral inside your body. This morning, I was discussing this with a friend. I'm definitely not mentioning names. I don't know if she's ever shared this. She's been married for, almost 20 years, and she even admitted that she probably hasn't shared this with her husband. I knew that she had had an abortion when she was younger. I knew that that's something that she thought about every day. But what I didn't know is that she was 17 and married, and that it was forced on her, that she was drugged, that she was dragged into the clinic, that she was screaming the whole time, I want to keep my baby. and that she had a forced abortion on her. And when she talked about that, it was as traumatic as a rape, if not more traumatic, as somebody forcing you for something like that. That's a more rare story, and it happened when she was 17. She's now a mother of 3, and she did have multiple miscarriages in there as well. So oftentimes when we have abortion or miscarriages, that spirit of that baby is still attached. That spirit is still with us and can cause a lot of disruption in our lives, or it can try to come back in. So this is why you hear it all the time. If you've had a miscarriage or an abortion, it can be really easy to get pregnant again right afterwards. Easy to get pregnant again. People are always thinking it's some kind of chemistry or hormone in your body. No, it's because the baby spirit's there. He or she is ready to be born and is a little irritated that it didn't happen. And so you're feeling those feelings too. Like you embody, like you're growing that baby and that spirit is with you. You two are one for a while and you share a lot of DNA. You share a lot of spirit together. And so it's like you're really marinating in all of that. And then suddenly you cut it off. And if you've never been pregnant before, you don't know what you're cutting off until you cut it off. And then you're like, oh my God, what did I do? And then what the message I'm giving you, I'm telling you right now, it's millions of women experience it every day. They think about it every day. Their mental health is not good. Imagine if abortion clinics could just tell women that you could have an issue with mental health for the rest of your life after doing this. Do you think that some women might actually think a little bit harder about making a decision like that? But that's the thing. The clinic won't tell you that, because then they're going to lose money. They're going to lose patients. You're going to walk out the door because there's this risk that you could have mental health issues for the rest of your life. And then you think, why are they disclosing all the risk for like surgeries and for medications, but not for this? Again, like I say, it's an industry that I really feel that is swiping left on women. This very aggressive narrative on abortion rights. It's very aggressive. Just me trying to share something really vulnerable and sacred and near and dear to my heart. And I will have you guys coming for my jugular all over the internet, TikTok and YouTube. Y'all gonna come out and tell me that not everybody feels this way. And, this is rare that people feel this way. You guys will tell me that. So you know what? I can't tell everybody's story. And so as part of my podcast today, I want to invite women on my podcast to share. I want to make space for all the stories. Actually, I don't necessarily need to hear all from women who have had abortions and regret it, or who've had abortions and suffered from it. I also want to hear, are there any women out there who have had abortions who are into it, who never had side effects, who moved on with their life and had normal mental health and didn't have drinking issues or drug issues and had a nice career? Did you stay childless? Did you have a child later? I have questions. I really just want to hold space for women who have gone through this, and I want to hear more. Plus, it can be really therapeutic to talk about your story and to be heard, especially if you're someone like me who was hurt by this industry and just wants to share. I want to invite you on the podcast. Now, if you want to remain anonymous, we can do that. We have the skills here in this studio that you can come into the show. We can disguise your voice. We can turn the cameras off so that you're not seen, but that your voice is heard and that your story is heard. Because if you're on the side that I am and you've experienced this child loss and it's been devastating for you, don't you feel like you could maybe help out the next woman by sharing your experience? And the same with someone who's had an abortion who feels like there's nothing wrong with it. Why not? We should hold space for all sides of it. I want to hear that, because honestly, every woman that I've talked about who had an abortion has at some level of guilt or shame or something, or they just don't talk about it. It gets stuffed down. It gets handled in other ways substance abuse or other types of patterns of addiction. Oftentimes, what I hear women who have resolved abortions, they ended up having children, became mothers, started raising children. Once once that soul is born, he or she is in the world now, and now you're doing your work as a mother. So oftentimes that will end the disruption. So please, if you're listening to this right now, and you've experienced child loss, abortion, miscarriage, child loss, I mean, you actually had your baby, you had a child, your child died, you were pregnant, you had an abortion, you were pregnant, you had a miscarriage, you're pregnant, you gave birth, you had stillbirth, you regret it, you don't regret it. I don't care. Call me, text me, send me an email. I want to talk to you. I want you on the show. Please. I invite you all to come in. Share this with anybody that you know who might be experiencing it, who might be interested in coming on and sharing with other women. So with that, I also, you know what? I forgot to bring my candles today. Over the weekend, was inspired to make soul baby candles. So when I told you that I had hired a witch, part of hiring that witch was to do a soul baby release ceremony. I don't know what I paid her. Maybe it was like $175 or something like that. I'm going to save you guys $175. Although if you do want some expert help, this gal, you can find her on Facebook. Her name is Godmother Doula. She does have a Facebook group, which I personally had to leave the Facebook group because every day somebody was posting about their abortion, and it was hurting my soul so much. It would hurt me. And it wasn't the type of place where it's a group where everybody supports everybody no matter what decision they're making about the pregnancy. So of course I'm not in there to sway somebody's decision. They're coming onto the group and saying, hey, I'm about to take these pills, and they actually have questions. And Godmother Doula really does a great job providing that space for them. So I had to exit out, but I did feel like it helped me. And a part of it was she sent me some sacred paper and holy water. And, I really did, even though both of my losses were early, I knew the gender, I knew it was a boy, I knew his name or both of their names. And so part of the soul baby release was writing their name and then standing over rushing water to say a prayer and release them. And the stories, this woman helps hundreds of women do this, and they always have these beautiful stories. So not too long ago, a client of mine was pregnant with twin girls, and she lost them at 26 weeks. It was really sad, you guys. It was really sad. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, let's go for a walk. I know how you feel right now. I know you're on an island. I know you're feeling devastated. I just want to hold space for you. I just want to walk with you. We took a walk down at Wetlands Park, and I went and showed her where the water was rushing. And I said, if you're ever ready, I'll come with you. I'll come with you to this spot, and we can release the girls together. And we did that. We came a second time, and we went together, and we forgot a pen. And I said, it's okay. We didn't have sacred paper. We didn't have holy water. So it's okay. Just scribble their name on the paper like this, with your finger. It's the intention. And then she let it go, and we was on the bridge, and she wailed, and I wailed with her, and there were joggers run by, and I didn't care. She didn't care. It was our chance to take up space to wail for these girls that the world never got to meet, these two baby girls that almost killed her, almost killed the mother. I made a little memorial video, and after that I said, well, I really want to create something for mothers who are hurting from this, to give them a ritual and sanctity around what happened. So over the weekend, I made these soul baby candles. They're super sweet, and they have little stones in them. So when you burn them all the way down, you have a crystal or a stone that has your soul baby essence. And lighting the candle and being with the candle is your ceremony to honor that life, to give that life sanctity, to give that life honor, to remember it, and to set it free if you want to, or invite it back in if you want to. I think the soul baby candles can go both ways, right? You know what? I did regret doing that, and maybe I do want to be a mother and bring life in again. Let's hold on to this and heal it, or let's let baby go and move on. And so I believe the candles can kind of go either way. So I'm going to be making those. If you're interested, reach out. Again, right now I'm continuing to do photography. I'm switching up my brand a little bit. So I was all boudoir, and now I'm going to be boudoir plus pretty much everything else except for real estate, newborns, and I don't know, there was big weddings. So if you are looking for a photo shoot, it's a great time to reach out. We can do some fall portraits, guys. Here's my website, www.brazenandbeautiful.com. Thank you guys for tuning in today to Rebel Goddesses podcast, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.